Welcome to this first yoga class of our Align to Enlighten series. It begins on the back. If you have a strap, have that just handy nearby. If you have a block, have that handy nearby. And you may also want a blanket or two for this sequence. So go ahead and come to lie on your back and begin to breathe. Put the soles of the feet on the floor. You could put your hands somewhere on the physical body, if that helps. But what we're doing now is we're just getting grounded, getting literally connected to the ground, allowing ourselves to give some weight to the ground. And now begin to notice the inhale and the exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. Now we're going to be applying these principles of enlightenment, of alignment to our physical practice as we go. And these first two principles where alignment happens in the now and in the here. And so just really allow for the first few minutes of this practice for you to arrive into this physical body, to breathe in and out of this physical body. Now you're going to go ahead and take both legs up into the air. And I want you to take a moment and admire your feet. And as you do so, you can move them around. You can do little circles, right? You can flex and point the feet. If there's other parts of the body that also now are kind of called to move around, you could also bring up your hands. You could move your head side to side, start to wake up your face. Yeah, just starting to kind of lubricate your joints. Good. Admire those feet, though, especially here for a moment. Yeah. Okay, now I want you to put your right foot on the ground, take your strap, and loop it around the bottom of your left foot. If you've got a strap. If you got long arms, maybe you don't need one. And then you're going to take about 5 breath cycles right here, just big, deep, full breaths. And I want you to notice what sensations are happening here and now in this body. Can you gently extend that left sits bone forward, right? Toward the bottom of your mat, away from your head. And then can you send that left heel up to the sky, just gently, right? These little subtle adjustments. And then every time we make a subtle adjustment, we allow ourselves to breathe and to feel it. Last breath cycle or so here. And then you're going to bend the left knee and you're going to hook the left foot onto the right thigh and then hug that right thigh in toward your chest. And breathe here. And again, we'll do this for about 5 breath cycles. And you don't have to necessarily track that, but just to say, give yourself the time to be just totally present for those cycles. They don't last that long. Be totally present for it. Let's take this last exhale out of the mouth, like a nice big release. The jaw gets soft, the brow gets soft. And then you're going to bring both legs up into the air again. Now this time, go ahead and shake your legs. And it's like we're just moving around some energy, freeing it up, shaking it loose so that no stagnant energy or sticky energy in there can start to clog up the works and stop the flow. Right? One of our principles of alignment is that nature is doing it, and nature is the most powerful thing that we have access to, that we're a part of. So we just shake things loose. Let's also just flutter the lips here. Maybe shake out the hands a little bit. Good. Now come to stillness. Take the left foot on the ground. Take a strap on the bottom of your right foot and breathe here. Give yourself permission to be a little playful, to be explorative. This is your body, your practice. So you can play around a little with these tiny adjustments to see what feels right and good. That right sits bone is moving forward to make room in the right side of your sacrum. The right heel is moving to the sky to make room. Well, where do you feel it? Your calf, your hamstrings, your foot. And then fill those spaces with breath. Just do that again and again. Feel sensation, fill that feeling with breath. And then you're gonna hook that right ankle over the left thigh. And be kind of clear with your joints here and careful with your joints, but you can hug the left thigh in toward the chest. Some people won't need to do that, right? Some people can actually just be right here. I should have demonstrated that on the other side, but you get the idea. You find the way that works for you, and then when that sensation is available, the stretch feels right, you just breathe in and out of it, totally present. Last exhale out of the mouth. And now take the soles of the feet to the floor. Now, for those who have a block nearby, you're gonna grab it and you're gonna put it between your thighs and squeeze it. Okay, let's look at the time here. If you don't, that's okay. You're just gonna imagine you do. You're just gonna really engage your inner thighs, engage your quads, engage your glutes as you're here. So now those legs that we were just kind of opening up, now they really feel really active, right? The feet probably feel pretty active. Notice that the low belly turns on, right? You've got some core turning on here. Now, just kind of press into those feet, engage that lower body until the hips lift. Until it's that they just float right up because of the strength of your legs and glutes and belly. And then lower the hips. And when you lower them, this is subtle, right? But I want you to notice you can tilt the pelvis. Okay, let's just pause with this for a moment before you lift your hips back up. Do you kind of see or feel, right, how those hips, when you tilt the pelvis like this, my low back is off the ground, and I can feel this little crease right here in my hips. Okay, so we're gonna call that a tilted pelvis. And then a tucked pelvis, go ahead and tuck your tailbone. Notice how those creases go in the front, right? We're more spread out, and then lift the hips. Do that 5 or 6 more times, just playing around with lowering the hips, tilting the pelvis, tucking the pelvis, lifting the hips. And see if you can find a nice little rhythm. It's really about learning how to get in touch with these subtle little differences, being able to move in these kind of small, simple, isolated ways. Fill it with breath. Don't let it be stagnant or stifled. Now we're going to add in something here in a moment. Stay with your little rhythm as I talk. And we're going to add in a little something that I want you to also keep kind of small. It'll be a little core workout, and it doesn't need to be a big one. Okay, so the next time your hips are lowered, Go ahead and bring your hands to the base of your skull with your elbows wide. Now, once again, lift the hips with that block squeeze there if you've got it. And now, as you lower, start to pull your elbows in and tuck your chin and do a little curl, okay? And then lay back down, spread out the elbows and lift the hips. And then lower the hips and do your curl. We're not worried now so much about the tilt and tuck of the pelvis, right? It's still there subtly. But now we're adding in this movement in the upper spine. Now find a little rhythm for yourself and match it with some breath. We're not going to do a ton of these, about 5 more. Receive that full inhale. Let go of the complete exhale. On the last 1 or 2 that you have here, how fluid can you make it? In this exercise, we don't ever really get to stop moving. How fluid can you make it? And then when all of that is done, you can go ahead and lay back, bring the block off to the side. You can hug those knees into the chest. You can move a little around through the pelvis, just kind of play with that. And then I'm going to recommend that everyone actually allows the knees to fall forward and wide. And while the hands are still gripping on the upper shin, kind of lower knee area, can you go ahead and let that pelvis tilt a little bit, right? So the low back comes off the floor. And just allow the bent knee legs to kind of flop forward and off to the side. Take a few breaths here, just releasing through the pelvis. Relax your pelvic floor, the bottoms of your feet. Now hug the knees into your chest and find a way up onto your hands and feet. I often call this reverse tabletop, but you're going to come on up, the feet right under the knees, the hands right under the shoulders. Lift up through your chest and take a few breaths here. This can be an interesting one, right? Opening up, pressing the feet and hands down to lift the chest up. Back of the neck stays long. Take a big inhale. And then a big exhale out of the mouth. Lower down. Cross at your ankles and come to hands and knees. Now take a few rounds of cat and cow on your own. Now we were just doing something kind of similar, right? On the back. We were tilting and tucking the pelvis, curling and rounding through the spine. Come to a neutral spine, and I want you to look at your hands. Now, one of the principles of physical alignment is that, well, all alignment, the foundation is really important. And what we put on top of the foundation is only going to be as sturdy as that foundation, right? So check out your hands. Maybe find a way to spread the hands out, not the hands themselves, but the fingers out a little bit. Make sure those middle fingers are somewhat parallel with each other. Checking in with that foundation. And now engage your belly and lift up your left leg behind you. Adjust the screen a little bit. Well, I'll do that in a second. Anybody who has wrist issues, you can come down into your forearms for this exercise. You can also put the forearms onto blocks. But what we're going to do is we're just going to pulse that left leg. I'm going to change the angle a tiny bit just because I think it's going to help you see me better. But you're just continuing to pulse that leg. And you want it to be in that alignment. You want it to be in an alignment where, where you're not turned out with the toes, right? The toes are pointed down, your belly's engaged just a little bit longer. I want us to get it strong through the backs of the legs, through the tush, No collapsing through the low back here, right? Okay. Now, set that back foot down on the mat. Put weight onto your right hand and roll over onto your right side. If you got backwards, you could just figure it out on the side that you're on, and then you're going to reach your left arm alongside your ear and stretch. This is what we're doing. Okay, nice deep breaths. Your body, these are your parts. Inhabit them, feel them. 1 or 2 more breaths. And then you're going to look down, okay, to the mat, to the right hand. You're going to thread the top arm through, lower the left knee. You might have to adjust the knees a little bit. And then lower your left side of the head down to the ground. The right fingertips can reach forward. And we'll take a nice big cycle of breaths here. Maybe 3 or 4 of those. And what I'm doing here, oh, you can also put that left side of the head on a block if you want, is really kind of letting my left outer arm get hooked, kind of down, stuck on that sticky mat, and then I'm pulling it gently to the left. You can also play around with making it more of a twist by pressing into that right hand. Yeah, okay. Exhale there. And then make your way back up onto hands and knees and do a couple rounds of your cats and cows. Okay, good. Now we're going to lift up the right leg behind us, okay? And you're going to pulse this one. And remember all that core strength we found when we squeezed the block, that inner thigh strength, all that integrity we're bringing in here. Long back of the neck, solid belly, and we're breathing and we're pulsing. And we're noticing, okay, I'm starting to feel a little heat, right? In that specific spot, hamstrings and glutes on that side. All right, and then you're just gonna lower that foot. You're gonna let that foot spin down. You're gonna put weight on your left hand and your left knee, and you can swing that left foot out to the side a little bit. I like to do that. It adds a little more support. And then the right arm reaches. Right, so we've got our foundation, and then we've got this reaching away, right, working with the foundation, from the foundation to the edge of the pose. Good. Make sure the back of the neck stays long. Inhabiting your body, your experience. And then we're going to look down. You're going to have to keep that belly engaged as you gently lower the right knee. Thread the right arm under the left. You can take that right side of the head to the ground or a block. Left fingertips can walk forward. And then you'll take some nice, deep, full breaths here. In and out. As you do so, you'll be making tiny little subtle adjustments, kind of playing around with the pose to find the variation that works best. And then 1 or 2 more breaths. And then go ahead and make your way up into a downward dog shape. So coming on to both hands, lifting up the hips. Downward dog, press into your hands, press into your feet. Engage through your belly. Let your head drop. Maybe press the chest more toward the thighs. Breathe deep. Look forward and take a little walk forward to the front of your yoga mat. Once you get there, come into a standing forward fold with your head and your arms dangling. Maybe shake out through the head or flutter the lips or wiggle the shoulders to find something to kind of release through the upper body here. And then you're going to be soft in your joints as you round your way up to stand. Take your time, feeling the spine align as you do so. And finally, come to stand at the top of your yoga mat with your hands together in front of your heart. Space here. And as you do so, just go ahead and let's find the base, right? So go ahead and look at your feet. You can pick up your toes. That's not helpful. You can pick up your toes, spread them out, and then release them back down. Lift up through your arches. Then feel a lift going all the way up through the whole spine, through the crown. You might want to close your eyes, and I want you to just check in. What is my intention with this practice? How can I find alignment today through this that's going to align me with my highest goals, with what I value most? And now inhale, raise the arms up and look up towards your hands. As you exhale, fold forward and hang over your legs. Yeah. So standing forward fold now. Good. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Look forward. Exhale, step your left foot back into a low lunge. Inhale, step back to plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the ground. Inhale, glide the heart forward and up, low cobra, lifting the chest. Exhale, back to downward dog. Good. Feel yourself breathing in downward dog. Everybody take a big exhale there. Inhale, lift up the left leg high behind you. As you exhale, step the left foot forward between your hands. Inhale, raise the left arm so you're in a twisted lunge. 5 breaths here. 1. Breathe for 2. Now can you feel the alignment? Can you feel the spine? Reach forward through the crown of the head, back through your heel. Press down through everything that's touching the earth. Breathing for 4. And 5. Now warrior 2. So push the ground away, spin the back heel down, and see if you can grow the pose from the earth up. And then you end up here, warrior 2. Gaze over your left fingers, 5 breaths. For 1. Breathe. 2. 3. Stay with it. Root down through your supports, through your foundation. Reach through the arms, last breath. 5. Now as you inhale, straighten the left leg, parallel your feet, right? So all 10 toes are facing forward or to the side of your mat. Interlace your fingers behind your back, lift up through your chest, and then lead with your heart, hinging at your hips, fold forward, and then go ahead and release the heart, release the head into this forward fold. If it doesn't work for you to have your arms up like this, you put them on the ground, right? Nice deep breaths here. And wherever you are, one last breath cycle. And then everybody put your hands on the ground. You're going to turn and face the front of the mat. As you do, you're going to heel toe your left foot wide to the side so your hands can come to the inside of that left foot. The right knee lowers down, and we just get a nice little stretch here. Now you could stay up on your hands like this. Some people like to come down onto the forearms. Some people like to bend the back knee and reach hand for foot. Wherever you are, whichever version, 5 breaths now. Just stay totally present for the experience of inhale and exhale. Feel how the breath goes in and meets the sensations. Breathing deep for 4. And for 5. Okay, you're gonna make your way back to a downward dog. Either stay there or rest in child's pose. Get a little break between sides, or come forward to plank, and you could do a knees, chest, chin, or a chaturanga. You could do a cobra or an up dog. Okay, all different options for different things we need, right? You need something different today than you did yesterday. So always just checking in and seeing what the body needs. Okay. You're going to look forward, step, hop, or walk forward. Once you get to the front of the mat, lengthen your spine and then fold down into the legs. Inhale, reach up, rise up, look up at the hands. Exhale, let the hands just float down to the heart. Let the chin drop slightly. Reconnect to your intention. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Bend the knees, step right foot back. Then left foot back, plank pose. Breathe in. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Breathe in. Breathe out all the way. Then inhale, float your right leg up behind you. Exhale, step the right foot forward between your hands. Inhale, float the right leg up to the sky. And we're in this low lunge twist, 5 breaths. 1, 2. Now remember all that work we were doing with that pulsing in the back of the leg, all that? Can you fire up that in the left leg, right? Activate that. Lengthen through the spine. Breathe deep. 4. And 5. Now push the floor away, engage your belly, spin the back heel down, warrior 2. Find the alignment, foundation first. Then as you press down into the foundations, grow up through the spine, reach through the arms, breathing 2. Big breath. 3. Soft gaze over those right fingers. 4. And 5. Now you're going to straighten the legs. Parallel your feet, right? Especially that right one has to move. Adjust as you need. Find that foundation. You could interlace the fingers the opposite way this time. Lift your chest. Hinge at your hips. Fold forward. And again, you could use this arm variation or try something different. You could put your hands on the ground if you want. Deep breaths. Press down through your feet. Hollow out through your belly on each exhale. And then for this one, Everyone go ahead and put the hands on the ground now again. And just experiment with these little adjustments. Bend your left knee and kind of lean some weight a little. Just see what happens. You might want to have the hands on blocks. Then bend the right knee and see what happens. Take 2 or 3 more breath cycles just to kind of experiment with little shifts. Keep it full of breath, full of awareness the whole time. Okay. Come back to center, and then you're going to go ahead and lift up the head. You're going to mindfully make sure the joints are turning with you as you turn to face the front of the mat. Heel toe your right foot wide so that the hands can come inside of that foot. And then lower the left knee down. Maybe you've got a blanket under it. Experiment with which variation of this pose you're going to take, and then go ahead and take it. Breathe. Fall into it. Fall into this shape. And feel it and be it. Two more breaths here. And we're going to mindfully make our way back to downward dog. Some of us might choose to throw in a little vinyasa here. A little extra heat, a little extra upper body work, core work. And then we're going to look forward and we're going to step, hop, or walk to the top of the mat one last time. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold into the legs. Inhale, reach all the way up. Reach up, look up, and then lower the hands in front of the heart and lower your eyelids. We're about to move to the floor and close this class. But one more time, I want you to just feel this alignment standing. To feel that you're right where you need to be. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Good. You're going to make your way to sit from here, however you want to do it. Okay. You're going to take the soles of the feet together and the knees apart, however you're sitting. Lengthen your spine and then fold forward. So we'll spend just a few more minutes kind of cooling down, winding down. Anybody who needs to leave, who's here live, just make sure you always give yourself at least a few deep, relaxed breaths if you ever need to pop out of the class. But that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We'll just take a few simple shapes and kind of slow down the breathing, calm down the nervous system, cool everything down again. Good. Come on up to sit now. Here is one place where you might want a folded blanket, but we're just gonna take a different forward fold that can be nice with a blanket under your sits bone, just a nice folded blanket there. We're just gonna do a little straight leg forward fold. Okay. And again, just about 5 or 6 breaths, nice and simple. Can also be nice to have a rolled blanket under your knees for this one. Feel the inhale enter and exit. That's your main job, is just observing this. You're going to slowly come up to sit. And you're going to come onto your back. This folded blanket or maybe a block nearby might be nice for what comes next. So yeah, something under the hips. We're just gonna do legs in the air, really simple, but something under the hips for this can be just lovely. A bolster, if you have it, can also be great for this. And you just put it right under your sacrum, and then you just raise the legs in the air. And then you could let the hands rest somewhere comfortable, either on the body or alongside, right? If you want some space in your shoulders, you could kind of do some cactus arms here, perhaps, but find a way to kind of spread out the upper back and the back of the neck to let the sacrum be spreading out onto either the floor, a blanket, or a block. And we're going to take a few slow, deep breaths. If you have a wall nearby, the best version of this is with your heels up against a wall, and you can just really relax here. I'm going to take a few more just quiet breaths here. In these last moments, invitation to just really gently massage the crown of your head, or maybe the brow or your face. Just opening all of that up. And then go ahead and put the soles of the feet on the floor. Take whatever was under your hips, and if it feels good and convenient, put it on top of your hips. Extend your legs. That's just an extra little grounding, right? Arms alongside, and here we're just going to spend about 10 breath cycles or so, but they're just going to be slow and relaxed. This is our final pose. Letting go of all effort. Completely different alignment, the alignment of dissolution, just dissolving. And in this posture, we can really feel ourselves being held, received, lifted up by something bigger. Whatever that something bigger is for you in your understanding of the world, surrender to that here. Surrender to that now, just for a few breaths. Now just slowly begin to deepen your breath. Feel the breath all the way down in the soles of your feet, in your pelvic floor, in the palms of your hands. Feel the breath in your belly, your heart, your face. You can wiggle your fingers and toes and then roll over onto one side and slowly press up to sit. We'll close with the sound of one Om. Thank you so much, those of you who have joined me live, and thank you so much, anyone who is watching this video. And I will see you guys all next Wednesday.